everybody tonight? Amen. Let's all get our seats and let's turn in our hymn books. So, church hymn book, page 157. Let's all stand. Trust and obey. 157, church hymn book. Here's another old one, number 47 at the bottom of the page. Footprints of Jesus. Footprints of Jesus. Everybody know that one? Sure. Vivian above. Nobody knows that one. Jared, baby, you don't know this one. Brother Bob, you know? Bob knows it. Listen up now. This is an old hymn. And listen up. You're going to sing it. I'll sing it. Sweet Lord, have we heard thee calling, come, follow thee. And we see where thy good friends falling lead us to thee. Footprints of Jesus that makes the pathway low. We will follow the steps of Jesus wherever they go. Though they lead o'er the dark mountain, seeking its sheep, or along life's enormous fountain, empty the weed. Footprints of Jesus that make the pathway low. We will follow the steps of Jesus wherever they go. Let's sing the last. Then at last when on high each leads our journey done, we shall rest where the steps of Jesus at his throne. Footprints of Jesus that make the pathway low. We will follow the steps of Jesus wherever they go. All right, do you know that one now? Yes. All right, we're going to sing it Sunday morning. Amen. Amen. Good to see everybody in church. Y'all glad you saved? Say amen. Amen. Y'all be seated. Hey, it do you good to learn a new song. We'll learn new every week. I don't know how many hymns are in the church hymn, probably 400 or something, and we might sing 20 of them. And there is some great, great songs in that book. A lot of times I go up north, and they sing stuff up there we don't sing. And they sing what we sing a whole lot different than what we sing. But there's some songs in that book that just are amazing. One of these days, I want to sing that song, "And Can It Be?" Man, I'm telling you, every time they get to that place where the chains fell off, I just about come unscrewed, man. Anyway, do you good? It is good to see you in church tonight. Good to see Brother Devin Bean. He wasn't here to visit, and he said, "No, I'm home." I couldn't believe it. Well, I don't know who it was last night. But Brother Charles, did you ask me last night or Monday night? Monday night, Brother Charles said, "Have you talked to Daddy?" And I said, "No. As a matter of fact, I hadn't heard from him in a little bit. We might need to check on him." And that I didn't have to go very far. I was going to have to go check on him. Mary says, amen. It is good to see everybody in church. Are we having Patch or Pee Wee tonight? Both? I don't. Okay, Patch and Pee Wee. We'll dismiss in a minute. Teenagers, I know a couple of you boys are going to preach tonight, but y'all stay in here with us tonight. Okay, I called Brother Jesse a while ago and asked him, is that okay? So teenagers, you stay in here, all right? Can't think of anything I need to announce right at the moment. Let's have our ushers, Brother Billy, you may come to receive this evening's offering. And while they're coming, what are you pointing at? Was you pointing at me? No. Oh, okay. Where are our prayer sheets? Are you about done? Okay, good. All right. Come on, Ken. Quit dragging. Any basketball game, things on the work? Amen. Let's bow our heads and go to the Lord in prayer. Timothy, won't you ask the Lord to bless the Lord?
Please bless the Lord tonight, Lord, as it preaches. We know He's got something to spend for all of us, Lord. Bless this offering. Give us a good service tonight, Lord. Bless the fellowship, Lord. Let's have a good night, Lord. Bless them all.
Amen. Amen. So red and he still prayed. He did good. I don't know if the Lord even heard that prayer. Yeah, don't sit there. I'll pull Tony Hudson on you. I'll make you stand the whole service. Yesterday was his birthday. Yesterday, Miss Emma, when was your birthday? Let's stand up. Let everybody look at you, man. I'm here tonight, but I think today is Brother Shane Reese's birthday. Yesterday. Same day. Man, that might be hers. Anyway, let's stand up here all over the house. Turn around and shake somebody's hand. Tell them it's good to see the church. Thanks for being the club through this business. Let's give us a seat tonight.
Reach down and singing. I'm glad it's a great truth. God does still answer our prayers. Amen. Hallelujah. Take the Bible and turn to John chapter number 10 tonight and keep them out. John chapter number 10. And I'm going to share a thought with you tonight. This was intended for my preacher's class. And the more I begin to think about it, the Lord just began to impress upon my heart that what would be good for them would be good for everybody. Especially our Wednesday night crowd. Y'all bear with me just a minute. I've got a... Sorry about that. I thought I'd chew that thing up, but it just kept getting bigger the more I sucked on it. So, John chapter number 10. I wanna just lay a little bit of groundwork tonight, and I jotted down about 15 things I was going to share with my preacher boys class, and some of it would just flat out not apply to most of you, so I trimmed it down just a little bit, and I got about 10 things I want to share with you tonight. Don't get nervous. It's not really 10 points, just 10 simple little truths that I believe if you'll get a hold of this tonight, it can help you. I thought about our Wednesday night crowd. Every one of us, just about, in some way or other, is involved in the ministry. Most of the people here tonight aren't just cue setters. You're doing something. And that's a blessing. Sometimes, and I'm trying to think of the right way to say this, sometimes you need preaching.
Amen. Amen.
More than everybody else.
Amen.
Am I okay in saying that?
Amen.
And, I want you to look at John chapter number 10 tonight, and verse number 10. I want you to understand this, as the Lord said, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. Let's look at it again. The thief cometh not but to what? Steal. To what? To kill and to destroy. And Jesus said, I am come that they might have life.
Amen.
And that they might have it more abundantly. You can go ahead and turn back to John chapter number 8, and I'll read a verse there in just a second. But you got to understand something. When we're in the ministry, we have a real enemy.
Yes, sir.
And his name's the devil.
Amen.
What is he out to do? Steal, to kill, and destroy. If the devil can do anything to wreck your life, trust me, he will. You get involved in the ministry, he'll attack your marriage. Say it again, he'll attack your marriage. He'll attack your children. He'll attack your home. He'll attack your mind. If you're going to serve God, you're going to have to be a little bit tougher than what some of you are. We're living in a day of soft people, and I understand that's where we live, and we gotta deal with folks kind of where we are. But there was a day when people were a lot tougher than what they are now, and you kind of have to be real careful how you talk to people nowadays, or they're just all hurt and all upset. But I'm going to be a little bit plain with you tonight. If you're going to serve God, you're going to have to toughen up just a little bit. Amen. I believe Brother Charles told me one time, and you heard it from a great old preacher, said every preacher should have the hide of a rhinoceros, the heart of a child, and the mind of a scholar. It's pretty good advice. The hide of a rhinoceros, the heart of a child, and the mind of a scholar. We need some thicker hide. Because we have a real enemy. And on the surface, it would appear, as I look around our country, not just our church, but around our country, he's winning. The short battle. That's right, John. In the end, he loses and he knows it. Amen. The Bible says he's come down having great wrath, for he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Right. So he's on a last ditch effort to do all the harm he can. But you got to understand something. The devil's not your friend. He is out to get you. And we all agree and nod our heads and say amen to that, but we don't live every day like that's a real deal. But it is a real deal. I want you to look at John chapter number 8. A couple of verses tonight. Keep your Bibles out. John chapter number 8. Look with me at verse number 44. Jesus said, "Ye are of your father," who? The devil, "and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a," say it with me, "liar. A liar, and the father of it." Can you get much plainer than that? Do you believe the devil will lie to you? Come on, talk to me. Do you believe the devil will lie to you? And let me tell you how good he is at lying. Have you ever known a liar that could lie to you and you knew they were lying, but they were so good at it they made you believe it? Sure. There was a guy we went to school with. I had to be careful. I saw him a while back, and all this stuff just flooded to my mind. And I asked a couple of people if they remembered a couple of incidents, and they all laughed, and everybody remembered. But we were sitting around the lunchroom table at Paulding County High School one day, and it began to flurry outside, a little snow flurry. And they'd go cancel school and send us all home. Well, he started talking about how he had a snowmobile, and he's going to go home ride his snowmobile. And I was always a little bit on the cocky side. And I thought, well, I'll fix his pistol, son. I said, we're going to follow you home. We're going to come ride your snowmobile. Well, he didn't back up. He just kept on. Well, about 5 of us piled up in a buddy of mine's car, and we followed that rascal home, all the way to his house. And I was going to say where he lived. I wouldn't want to let on to who he might be. He lived in Hire. And we followed him all the way to his house. And we got there. And I said, all right, brother, let's get that snowmobile out. He went to the garage and opened the garage door. And he said, man, I forgot. It's in the shop. His daddy walked out the door and said, what are y'all boys doing? Oh, you can tell he got nervous. I said, we come to ride that snowmobile. He said, snowmobile? Anyway, he was one of them kind of liars. He'd tell you a lie, he believed it, and he'd make you believe it. And I'm here to tell you the devil is a liar and the father of it. Now, here's what he does, and we're going to talk about it a little bit tonight. The devil knows how to mix a little bit of truth in with his lie and make that thing so convincing that if you're not careful, he will lie you out of the ministry. He said again, if you're not careful, he will lie you out of the ministry. I might be talking to our preachers tonight, but at the same time, let me address our teachers, our bus workers, our children's church workers, everybody who does anything, from an usher to whatever. I don't care what you do, from vacuuming the floor to swabbing the toilets to changing light bulbs, whatever you do, understand something tonight. The devil is a liar. Right. That's right. And I'm just going to share with you some common lies that he will tell you that will get you out of the ministry. Lie number 1. Lie number 1, go to Proverbs chapter number 16. You can probably quote it. Proverbs chapter number 16. Lie number 1. If you got something to write on, won't you write them down? Proverbs chapter number 16. Y'all there?
Yes, sir.
Lie number 1. You ready?
Yes, sir.
You're the best there is. Can't nobody do what you're doing better than what you're doing.
Amen.
If you don't think the devil will tell a young preacher that, you got another thing coming. I've seen more young preachers split churches because they got to the point where they thought they knew more and better than their pastor did. Are y'all okay? Lie number 1, you are the best there is at what you're doing. I remember thinking that. I remember sitting on the pew as a young preacher boy thinking, man, if he'd get out of the way, I'd show him how to preach. He said, Brother Eddie, you really didn't think that. I really did. I didn't care who was preaching. I could do it better. That's not something you'd say publicly or openly, but I'm saying it now. I did. Number one lie. Can't nobody do what you're doing better than you're doing. Proverbs chapter 16. Anybody know what verse I'm going to?
Yes, sir.
18. Pride goeth before destruction, the Holy Spirit before a fall. Pride will kill you in the ministry. Just say it again. Pride will kill you in the ministry. I've actually heard people say it. If it's done any better, I'll have to do it myself. Pride will keep you from trusting people to do stuff. Pride will keep you from allowing people to help you. I told my preachers in class Monday night, years ago, a wise man on visitation one Saturday, and he's sitting right there. He said, can I say something to you and not hurt your feelings? I said, yes, sir. He said, you're going to have to learn to trust some people and let them help you. Remember that? He said, you're not the Lone Ranger. You can't do it all by yourself. Are we okay? Preacher boys, you better listen to me. Pride will keep you from allowing other people to help you in the ministry. And I'm glad when God puts us in the ministry, He puts people in place to help us in the ministry. Oh, we on the internet, ain't we? I know some preachers whose churches will never grow. It'll never be more than what it is because they micromanage. And nobody can do anything good enough to suit them. Number one lie of the devil. You're the best there is. Do not let pride get in your way. First time some of you preacher boys sign a few Bibles, your head's going to swell up like that big around. Oh no, preacher, I'm humble. You're full of it. It'll get to you. It'll get to anybody. I'll never forget what Brother Earl Hughes said. He said first time he went to Brother Sandy's camp meeting. You remember that? He said all them preachers left and went to lunch and left all their Bibles laying on the pew. He said, I thought they just left them there for me to sign. So he went around and signed every one of them preachers' Bibles. Don't let pride get in your head in the ministry. When you get full of pride, nobody can tell you anything. When you think you're the best there is, well then who's left to help you along the way? Nobody can tell you nothing. Some of you older guys, you remember when you were younger, couldn't nobody tell you nothing about anything. And now you're older and you look back and you think, boy, I wish I'd have listened. Amen. Lie number one, you're the best there is. That's what you do. You're the best bus director. You're the best bus captain. You're the best Sunday school teacher. You're the best children's church worker. You're the best this. You're the best preacher. You're the best. No, you're not. And neither am I. Number two, I'm talking about lies of the devil. What was number one? You're the best there is. Number two, you're the worst there is. If he can't beat you with pride, he'll do it with self-pity. Let me say it again. If he cannot beat you with pride, he will beat you with self-pity. You get done preaching a message and you'll spend an entire week in depression. Anybody ever been there? Beating yourself to death, second guessing everything you said. And the devil will jump on your back and go, you're the sorriest thing that's ever lived. You're no good at this. You need to get out of the way and let somebody knows what they're doing. Y'all okay? Lie number one, you're the best there is. Lie number two, you're the worst there is. I've let him convince me of that a few times. I know we're nothing in that of ourselves. Let me say it again. I know that within ourselves we're nothing.
Yes. Right.
Paul said, in my flesh dwelleth no good thing.
Amen.
Nothing good about me, but there is something good about Him. He who called me can acquit me. Are you listening? So I can take confidence when I stand in this pulpit, or when I do whatever it is that God has asked me to do, or whatever it is that God has put in my path. I can stand in confidence and say, God asked me to do it. He will enable me to do it.
That's right.
Are you okay? I'll never forget, old Jack Hiles told the story when he preached his first sermon. The pastor of the church came to him after the service and said, son, you seriously need to consider doing something else for a living. Because you'll never amount to anything as a preacher. Truth be known, most first sermons I've heard weren't that great.
Right.
You got to start somewhere. I've heard a few start great, but they didn't last very long. It takes time. So you just keep doing whatever it is you do.
Amen.
You may be, in your mind, the worst there is. Trust me, you're not. There's somebody out there sorrier than you are. Somewhere. I'm trying to help you tonight. What you got to do is say, I may not be very good at this.
Yes. Amen.
But God has asked me to do this. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it until I figure it out. I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Let me say it again. I'm just going to keep doing it.
That's right.
Line number 3. People don't care about you.
Oh, yeah.
People just do not care. Am I on track, Brother Atkins? Do you think? People just don't care about you. They don't care what you're doing. You're not appreciated.
That's right.
Are you listening? If he can convince you of this, he will kill every bit of confidence you have in what you're doing and in who you're doing it for.
Right.
That is a lie of the devil. Had a man in the church one time. He had visited for a while. I think maybe he had joined. And he come to me after the church. I don't even remember the guy's name. He come to me after church one night all upset. He said, I got a problem. I said, what is it? He said, well, it's with one of the men in the church. I said, well, tell me what's going on. I wasn't expecting anything other than what I heard. He said, this man in church he's so like me. I said, really? And I was already figuring out who it was. I thought, man, I can see that was such and such and so and so. And I said, who is it? He said, Brother Charles. I said, you're out of your mind. I said, you're out of your mind. I said, you don't even know him. You know what the devil did? Whether Brother Charles didn't recognize the guy, didn't shake his hand, I don't know what the case was. The devil jumped in his lap and said, he don't like you.
That's right. Amen. Amen.
They don't appreciate what you're doing. Y'all okay?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's one of the biggest lies the devil will use.
Amen.
I wonder if that's not why so many preachers resign their church after a few years.
Yes.
Because the devil crawls into bed with them and convinces them that they're not doing anybody any good.
Wow.
If anybody's showing up, you're helping somebody.
That's good.
We okay tonight? I told you this is stuff I was going to share with my preacher boys, but I believe it'll apply to everybody else. You'll stand in that Sunday school class and feel like you're beating your head against the wall.
Yeah.
And them kids are running rampant and wild. I walked in Brother Todd's Sunday school class Sunday morning. The boys had some questions for me, and I forgot what they were. What were my hobbies outside of church? My favorite character in the Bible, and what advice could I give the 4th through 6th grade boys? What was the best advice I could offer them? And this one little boy had a hat pulled down over his head and was all slumped down. He was asleep. And he wasn't paying me a lick, did you? I said, sit up, boy. And he sat up. But a lot of times the devil, he will magnify a sour look on somebody's face.
Right.
You don't ever know what kind of day somebody might have before you encounter him.
Amen. Right.
You understand that? And the devil will say, it's you. 9 times out of 10, that is the farthest thing in the world from the truth.
Right.
We're not careful, we'll get caught up in this thing of worrying about whether or not we're pleasing people.
Right.
Or whether or not we're pleasing God.
Amen.
Truth be known, I shouldn't need your pat on the back.
Right.
Truth be known, you shouldn't need mine.
Amen. Right.
We're in this thing together and serving the Lord together. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate you and I don't mind telling you, hey, you're doing a good job, thank God for you. And I know I don't do that enough. We, especially those of us who serve in different areas like Brother Thomas, they're out yonder on Sunday and I don't hardly see them at all. But man, I appreciate what them guys do. But I'm glad they're not doing it because I appreciate it.
Amen.
They're doing it because them little boys and girls need to hear about Jesus Christ. You're teaching your class because them boys and girls need to hear about the Lord. You're running that bus not to get a paper on Sunday night or an award. You're running that bus and you're laying up treasures in heaven. God's keeping account of what we're doing. Amen. Lie number 3, people just don't care about you. Lie number 4. Lie number 4. You're not making a difference anyway.
Wow. Amen, bro.
You're not making a difference anyway. You're not helping anybody. Why keep doing it if you're not helping anybody? Got quiet right there.
Yep.
If you've been serving God very long, doing anything,
Right.
He's tried to convince you of that.
Amen.
He's crawled up in your bed. He's used some set of circumstances to say, see, you ain't helping nobody.
Right.
You get up and preach your heart out. And everybody just sits there.
Yep.
You don't know how many times that's happened to me. I go out of town, preach revival. Man, half the time before I get done preaching, people's already in the altar. It was that way the week before last with Brother Eric Knights. Man, I preach, more people just come and get in the altar, and the devil say, I come home and preach my heart out, and y'all just sit there. The devil says, see, you ain't helping nobody. You ain't helping nobody. He'll do his best to convince you of that. Turn to 1 Corinthians chapter number 3. 1 Corinthians chapter number 3. We'll make a couple of statements right here and we'll move on. Lie number 1, you're the best there is. Lie number 2, you're the worst there is. Lie number 3, people don't care about you. Lie number 4, you're not helping anybody anyway. You might as well quit. You're not helping anybody anyway. 1 Corinthians chapter 3. Look at verse number 6. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse number 6.
Yeah.
Paul said, I planted, Apollos watered, but God
Amen.
gave the increase. We are not God's little scorekeeper.
Right.
Amen.
Let me say it again. We are not God's little scorekeeper.
Thank you, Pastor.
We are planters and waterers.
Amen.
That's right.
That's all we are. We are planters and waterers. God gives the increase and God's keeping score.
Yes, sir.
I get a little bit put out with some of these larger churches and larger ministries that are all about numbers.
Yeah.
That's right.
Amen.
Preachers everywhere I go. Number 1 question, how many of you run?
Yep.
How many? What's the matter?
That's right.
I have preachers call me and say, I would love for you to come preach for me, but my church is small. What's that got to do with anything?
Right.
Mine used to be.
Amen.
You'd be surprised. I know y'all think a lot of times I travel and it's some big deal and some big shop. No, man, I preach in the living room.
Praise God.
Amen.
Storefronts.
Yeah.
Amen.
I don't ask a guy when he calls me, how many have you done?
Yeah. Amen. Oh, that's good.
So it doesn't make me different.
Right. Amen. That's right. Amen.
I went to one of those soul winning clinics one time. And that church called me every year for the next 5 or 6 years, wanting to know how many we had saved and how many we had baptized. I asked them every year, why do you want to know? Oh, we want to put it in our paper. We want to give an award to the church who had the most saved and the most baptized. I said, we don't keep up with it. Oh, you don't keep up with how many you had baptized? Nope. They thought I was the craziest man in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to get caught up in that.
Amen. Oh, that's good.
Because I might get discouraged if I don't have as many people saved as somebody who had in some great big metropolis like Chicago or downtown Atlanta. Are you listening?
Yeah.
Right. Amen.
Our job is to plant,
Amen.
and our job is
Amen.
to water.
Amen.
I expect an increase,
Yes.
and I will get an increase if I don't worry about the increase.
That's right.
If I just preach, if I just plant, and I just water, and I just plant, and I just water, sooner or later something's coming up. Amen. And I can't go comparing my fruit to swallows.
Yep. That's right.
And I sure can't compare my fruit to somebody's in another town somewhere or another state.
That's right.
Are y'all okay?
Amen.
I know preachers who look down their nose on little mountain preachers who pastor in a holler somewhere in West Virginia, and they run 20 on Sunday morning. Well, they're just not getting it done. They probably got the majority of the people who live in that holler.
Right. Amen.
And you got to go up there to understand it. Them people's claiming.
Right.
They ain't going to church in the next holler.
All right. No.
No. They're going right there. They ain't going nowhere.
Right. That's
That
right.
doesn't mean the preacher ain't doing a good job because he's only got 20. You know what he's doing? He's planting and he's watering. He's planting and he's watering. You walk in that Sunday school class and they're not listening. You're planting and you're watering. And you think they're not getting. Kids are getting more than you think.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Right.
They're getting more than you think they're getting. Kids are better at multitasking than anybody I know.
Amen.
Trust me. I've watched my grandkids while my wife and I were having a conversation and I thought they were not listening. They will be neck deep in a video game. And they look like they're in a whole other world. And a little while later, Papa, why'd you say that? What did I say? Well, you told Nina, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, but they're listening. You'll be surprised what they're getting.
Right.
I don't know how many times Hayden is the world's worst called me down on something I said while I was preaching. Papa, you know what you said while you was preaching? No, what did I say? You said. I didn't say that. You did. Shut up, play your video game. You're not making a difference. Tell you what we'll do. Sunday morning we'll line these bus kids up in here. We'll let them tell you what not to make a difference.
Amen.
We're rich in the nursery. You are making a difference. You are making a difference. Somebody said, preacher, I really don't do a whole lot. I know I'm not making a difference. Do you tithe?
Yeah. Amen.
It's hot in here because you're making a difference.
Amen, brother.
There's diesel fuel in every one of them buses because you're making a difference.
Amen. Amen.
Those buses are running because you're making a difference. Those teachers will teach Sunday morning because you're making a difference.
Amen, brother.
Your preacher will preach Sunday morning because you're making. Don't you ever let him they tell you, you're not making a difference. If you've got a part, if you're doing anything, you're making a difference.
Right.
And you may have one of them jobs around here that nobody sees you do.
That's right.
That goes unnoticed and unappreciated. For those of you that clean the church,
Yeah.
Right.
you probably really feel unappreciated when you clean and find the mess these pigs leave in the floor.
Yep.
Amen.
But you are making a difference.
Amen. Sir.
If you're not making a difference in anybody else's life, you're making a difference in my spirit on Sunday morning. And I take it for granted as much as everybody else does. I walk in here, the place is clean. I walk in the hallway. I walked in here the other day during the week and got to get something. And I walked in this back door right here. And as soon as I did, the smell hit me. And I went, man, that smells good. Somebody put a, what do you call it, a plug-in. Air freshener. Wouldn't even be putting a light somewhere in a plug-in. I don't know who did that. I know.
Amen. That's right.
I said, come on, preacher, it ain't no big deal. I thought it was.
Amen. Right.
It's better than smelling that musky dungeon down there. Say amen, Brother Chris. You are making a difference. Here's what the devil will do. He will minimize the one you did help. And he will magnify the 10 who spit in your face.
That's right.
And so you're not making a difference.
Yep.
What am I going to do? I'm going to plant.
That's right.
I'm going to water. I'm going to preach till you'll never goes off here. I'm going to preach till you'll never get under conviction again. I'm going to plant. And I'm going to water. And hope that one day I'll walk in here and see something springing up out of the ground.
Yes. Amen.
That's right.
Every farmer, that's what he's looking for. Life.
Amen.
Life. Ain't nothing more thrilling than put a seed in the ground and nurture it and water it. Walk out there one day and you see that little green sticking its head, pushing its way through that dirt. Amen. Keep planting and keep watering. What number was that? 4. No, that's 4. You're not making a difference. Number 5. This is mostly to our preacher boys. But you'd do better if you just leave off that gospel stuff so much. I've had people tell me that. You shouldn't preach so much salvation. That's what I'm called to do.
Amen. That's right. Amen.
Paul said, probably the greatest preacher who ever lived, Romans chapter 1, verse number 16. Anybody know what that verse says? For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. For it is the power of God unto salvation. What comes next? To everyone that believeth, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. Is that right? Brian, don't ever be ashamed of the gospel. Don't ever be ashamed that we're in a gospel ministry. Ain't nothing thrills my heart more than to get here on Sunday morning and find out 3 or 4 kids got saved on a bus before they ever got here. You know what that lets me know? That lets me know we're on the same team. That lets me know we're doing the same job. That lets me know we've got the same agenda. Don't ever back off. Some of you preacher boys, you're going to grow up. You might go out of here. You might serve God. And the devil will tell you, boy, if you just back off a little bit, if you just back off a little bit, if you just tone that stuff down a little bit, stay off that hell stuff, stay off that sin stuff, stay off that blood stuff, and just preach something soothing. You say it won't happen to me, it's happening better than you.
Amen.
Some of the greatest preachers I've known and preached around this country with don't preach it no more.
Right.
Why? They started listening.
That's right.
They started listening to the lies of the devil. What brought sin into this world? Anybody know? Can anybody tell me? A lie. Somebody started listening to snake talk. Remember old Brother Fleming said that? He said, you've been listening to some snake talk. Oh yeah. He convinced Eve that it was okay to do what God said don't do. Do not listen to the lies of the devil. He'll lie to you. He probably already has. He probably is. And he will continue to.
Right.
Right now, the devil's saying, you ain't got to. But I guarantee you, I'm talking to somebody who's lying to you.
Amen.
I guarantee you, if you quit what it is you're doing, it'll be one of these lies that will lead you to quit.
Right. Amen.
And one of these lies will be your excuse for quitting when you come to it.
Yeah. Right.
I've heard them over and over and over and over again. Number 6. Number 6. We're doing okay on time. It's not even 8 o'clock. Number 6. You're not qualified.
Amen, brother.
You're not qualified to do what you're doing. Or you ain't got a clue what you're doing.
Amen, brother.
And you know what? 9 times out of 10 we got to say, that's the truth.
Yeah. That's right, brother. Amen.
When I get into a question and answer session with a pastor, it always comes up, and I always hate it. You would think in 25 years I'd come up with some answers, and I still don't have any. Brother Eddie, how do you build a church? I don't know. It's the truth. It ain't my job to build a church. I'm a farmer. I plant and I water. Brother Eddie, how do you build a big youth group? I don't know. How do you start a youth choir? I don't know. It just happened. They want you to say, well, you got to do this, this, and this. I really don't know. I'm not qualified. I go to some of these meetings, and I don't understand why, Brother Charles, but over the years, Brother Freddie, I've been privileged to preach with some really big shots. We make fun of Brother Tony all the time, call him big time, but big time and myself sometimes we go preach with big time. Guys who are really, really, really considered big time. And you get around these guys that pastor thousands. And every now and then one of them walk up to you that you hadn't had the privilege to meet before. You know one of the first questions they ask? Where'd you go to school?
Yeah. Yes.
Where'd you go to school? I took some classes on the interwebs. What I got. I got my degree on the interweb. Amen. I did. It's the truth. And used to that, it embarrassed me. What they wanted to know is how qualified was I.
Right.
Some of them were making a predetermined decision of whether or not they were going to listen to what I had to say. Bible colleges in America aren't near as big as what they used to be.
Right.
But that used to be a big deal.
Yep. Right.
Well, if you went to so-and-so school, we ain't got no use for it. Or if you didn't go to so-and-so school, you didn't go to school. So you get around in the ministry a little bit and learn some of this stuff, you're not qualified. I don't care whose school you went to. You're still not qualified. Ain't nobody going to teach you how to pastor.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody going to sit in the classroom, Brother Jeremiah, and teach you how to be a bus director. They might give you some advice, but they can't teach you how to do it.
Yeah.
You don't learn to deal with people not dealing with people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You get all the book learning, I'm not against it. Get all the book learning you can. Get all the organizational skills you can. But you'll never learn to deal with people until you start dealing with people. You're not qualified. You need to get out of the way and let somebody else do what you're doing. Doubt is one of the devil's biggest weapons. Doubt is one of the devil's biggest weapons. I asked a preacher, a friend of mine, I asked him last year, point blank. It's just he and I sitting in his office. I said, I got to ask you a serious question. Why am I here? Why am I here? I'm not going to start name dropping, but I said you have such and such, and you've got so and so, and you've got Dr. Bottlestopper, you've got Dr. Pepper, and you've got Dr. Yeah, I started naming all these doctors. You've got enough doctors here to have two preach every service, and none of them preach twice. Why am I here? Honestly, I was trying to get out of preaching. I really was. I didn't want to. When you're young, you think, man, I can anything to preach from God. Till you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I'd rather crawl up under a pew somewhere. Why am I here? Here was the answer. And it humbled me. He said, you help my people.
Amen.
Oh, praise God.
Amen.
He said, you don't put any false pretense, you just you.
Amen.
Amen.
In my heart, I'm thinking, I don't have to do nothing.
Yeah, really.
Amen, brother.
Amen.
I couldn't be Dr. Bottlestopper if I tried. But he'll tell you, you're not good enough to be doing what you're doing. Truth of the matter is, the devil's right when he tells us that. But the man I'm working for. Standing right there in that aisle, Brother Jeremy, right about where you're at, right there between you and Candace somewhere. I guess it's been 18, 19 years ago now. Brother Charles and I, Brother Harold Camp, Brother Tim Nolan, Brother Robert Upton, several of us men came over here and walked this property and looked at this building. Somehow, Brother Tim Noble and I got left in this room by ourselves. And we're walking out of this building, and I just stopped right there. I was tore up from the floor up. We stopped in the middle of that aisle right there. Tim turned around and he said, what are you blubbering for? I said, man, I ain't got no business in a place like this. I said, I'm nobody. I expected my best friend to put his arm around me and say, oh, it's okay to preach about it. He stuck his finger in my face. He said, you shut that mess up right now.
Amen.
He said, you're my preacher. And you've got as much business in this place as anybody.
Amen.
Matter of fact, you've got more business than most of them that's been here before you. This is what he said. We're all unqualified. But we serve one who can fill us. Who he calls, he equips. Number 7. The old way just doesn't work anymore. The old way just doesn't work anymore. The devil's telling young pastors that all across this country, and they're buying it and they're believing.
That's right.
It still works.
Amen.
Brother Charles, is it the last 2 Saturdays we've had somebody saved on visitation? The last 2 Saturdays in a row. It still works.
Amen.
Gospel tracts still work. Well, that's just old school. So is that King James Bible. Well, that kind of preaching, it just won't work anymore. Yeah, it does. I'm watching it work all across the United States. Countries all around this world, it still works. I've had preachers. I'm talking about about some preachers, if I named them, most of you would know who I was talking about. They've sold their buses. You know what they said? They just don't work anymore. No, it's people that don't work anymore. The bus industry still works. It's still alive and it's still well. There's still a group of people out there that would never come to the house of God if somebody didn't go get them. I know we're living in a world that's a lot more busy and got a lot more things going on, but listen, they're still coming. It still works. Had one preacher quit having Sunday school. He said, I just quit and let nobody come. Come on. That don't mean you quit. You keep planting, you keep watering. You keep planting, and you keep watering. Sunday school does work.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Say it again. Sunday school does work. How many Sunday school teachers we got here around here? Got a few. Y'all put them down. Watch this. How many of you had somebody say in your class? Just Brother Chris? Never had nobody say inside your Sunday school class? Brother Thomas, you have? Yes, you have. It still works.
Amen.
It still works. Some of you that raised your hand, you're teaching Sunday school. Now you've got people that used to be in your class who are teaching Sunday school.
Right.
I said again, you've got people who used to be in your class who are now teaching Sunday school. They're not in your class anymore because they've moved on into another part of the ministry.
That's right.
Amen.
That's right.
The old way still works.
Yes, sir. Amen.
Plain old-fashioned preaching still works.
Yeah.
That's a lie of the devil. That won't work anymore. It will if you will.
Yeah.
Old-fashioned soul winning will work if you will.
Amen.
The devil will lie to you every time somebody slams a door in your face or makes fun of you or wads up a track and throws it at your feet. The devil will say, see. And it's just a process of elimination.
That's right.
You're one closer to the guy who says, man, I've been hoping somebody would come by. It may be few and far between. You keep planting, you keep watering. You keep planting, you keep watering. Hey, listen. Had an opportunity today. Young man was at my house to look at some water damage and asked him where he lived. And it wasn't far from here. I said, I said, you go to church anywhere? Well, off and on we do, blah, 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 same old story. And the Lord nailed it. He said, you better witness to me. So I'll wait till he gets out from under my house. You better witness to him. I'll wait till he starts to leave. That way if he gets mad, he's leaving anyway. Finally I said, hey, I know you told me you go to church some here and there, but have you ever been saved? That's a hard question to ask.
Yeah.
Did it? It still works. You know what it does? I don't care who you're talking to. It confronts them with reality. Young man told me he's saved. I invited him to church. I hope he'll come Sunday. I did. I hope he'll come. Wouldn't that be a blessing? Talked to a man last week. Told me he's saved. He said his wife wasn't. He said, I'm scared my wife's going to die. Wouldn't it be good if they come to church and she got saved? Wouldn't it be a blessing? It still works. I expect it to work. If I didn't think it worked, I'd stop doing it. Amen? The old way doesn't work anymore. I got to hurry. Number 8. Your personal time comes second to the ministry. Your personal time with God comes second to the ministry. Your personal time with God comes second to the ministry. If you're not careful, you'll get so busy serving God that you're not spending any time with God.
Yeah.
What did I tell you boys Monday night? Cut your phone off.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Cut your phone off. Wednesday is a study day. That's just my habit. I've been doing it for years. I study and read every day, but Wednesday's heavy study day. Not just get ready for tonight, but study period. Wednesday's a study day. If you call me, Brother Jerry Bailey called me today. Did I answer your call? Nope. My little brother, that's family, called me today. Did I answer his call? Nope. You know why I didn't answer? I didn't know they called. I put the phone on the dresser and cut the ringer off.
Amen.
Once I got through, I looked at my phone and saw my missed calls. Did I return your call? I did. Didn't I? Did I call you back? I did. Are you paying attention to what I'm saying?
Yes.
If your personal time with God is not what it ought to be, your time with everybody else ain't going to be what it ought to be.
Right. That's good.
Those little boys and girls, you may think, I'm not doing a big deal. It's not a big deal what I do. I'm just teaching the children's Sunday school class. That's bigger than you think. That's bigger than what you think. Tell that to Charles Kimball. Does anybody other than Charles Dyer know who Charles Kimball is?
Amen.
He was D.L. Moody's Sunday school.
Amen, brother.
D.L. Moody was a little shoe salesman clerk in Stoll. Charles Kimball went by to visit him because he had missed in Sunday school. Charles Kimball led D.L. Moody to the Lord.
That's right.
Just a kid's Sunday school class. It's a pretty big deal. Because you don't know. You have no idea who's sitting in that room. Brother Todd, my replacement, baby, in your classroom. I got quit. We were at Dairy Queen the other day. I'll probably sit tell it. It's hilarious. And me and Hayden sitting there eating a hamburger. And he's talking about what he's going to do when he grows up. I said, have you ever thought about taking a pilot's class? And he just stopped and thought about it for a minute. He said, that'd be pretty cool. He said, that'd be pretty cool. He said, people would come up to me and go, oh, you're such a blessing. Here's $100. Just like that, Brother Brady, that's what he said. That'd be pretty cool. People would say, you're such a blessing. Here's $100. So we know what he thinks pastor is. By the way, I'll be standing right over there at the church. Your personal time with God comes second to the Lord.
Amen.
Your personal time with God, I don't care what part of the ministry you're in. Personal time with God is not just for preachers.
Right.
It's for moms.
Amen.
It's for dads.
Yes, sir.
It's for husbands.
Yes. Amen.
If my relationship's not right with God, I'm wasting my time trying to make my relationship right with my wife.
Amen, brother.
We okay? Do not let the devil convince you that everything else is more important. If you're not careful, you'll give the best of yourself to everything else, and God gets your leftovers.
Yes.
Your job, think about how many hours a week your job gets out of you. And I know you have to work. I'm not making light of that. But you better find God some time to do it.
Amen, brother.
Not at 11 o'clock at night when you can't hold your eyes open.
Right.
Now, that works best for me. I'm a night person. But you got to figure out when your best time is.
Amen. Amen.
And give God your best attention. Give God your best energy. And you'll be surprised how much more you've got to give everybody else. Amen. All right, what number was that? 8? Number 9. Number 9. Put your family on the back burner. They'll understand. put your family on the back burner. They'll understand. That's a lie.
Amen, brother.
I know pastors who have lost their own children trying to save somebody else's.
Yes, sir.
Say it again. I know pastors. I know some great pastors who have lost their own children while they were trying to save everybody else.
That's right.
Your family time is very, very important.
Amen.
And you guard it.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
I used to listen to this one preacher all the time. And he was my hero, buddy. This was Jack High. I don't make no bones about it. I listened to every tape I could get my hands on. And he made this statement over and over again about how he went so many years without taking a vacation. And one day the Lord said, "That's stupid."
Amen.
Yeah.
Not he's stupid, but that's stupid.
Yeah.
You better take some time.
Right. Amen, brother. Amen. Amen.
You better get that little boy,
Yes.
teach him how to shoot that rifle.
Amen, brother.
Amen.
You better load him up and take him to the deer woods and take him fishing. You better take them little girls to the mall and walk around with them.
Amen, brother.
Because you're going to turn around one day and they're going to be grown.
Right. Amen.
If you don't do something now, then they'll be gone.
Right.
That's true.
I had bus workers come to me and said, "Preacher, my family's got to have a break." I ain't never got on to one.
Right.
I ain't never fussed at one. You better not make your family play second fiddle. Take time. Some people carry that to the wrong extreme. Don't put you up a mailbox at a ball field. Wednesday night is still church.
Amen.
Sunday morning and Sunday night. Well, the preacher said we were to buy a camper and go to the lake on the weekends. No, I didn't. If the weekend is Friday and Saturday, help yourself. By the way, if you get one on Lee Dowley, let me know which days of the week you will not be there. As long as the key to your camper, please. Amen. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, don't go overboard
Right. Amen.
where you push God completely aside. You better learn to balance that thing. Amen. Number 10. I'm done. The Bible really has flaws. The Bible really has flaws. It really shouldn't say that. A better word would be I know I'm preaching to the choir. But there's some out there who don't believe this book anymore.
Right, brother.
And 15 years ago, they'd have sat on the pew where you're sitting and said, "Amen, mother, amen."
Amen.
Are you listening? I had a preacher I know very well told me I was on fire. He said, "I still preach the King James Bible." That statement scares me.
Yes. Amen.
So what you're saying is that's what you preach ain't necessarily what you believe. Here's what he said: "I still preach the King James Bible, but I'll let my Sunday school teachers do whatever they want." That's what he said. And I'm not going to tell you what I said. And I haven't preached for him anymore. I guess you're an idiot. Didn't go over very well. I did. Well, I said, "Man, you're an idiot." That's God's word.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
I know I'm not riding a hobby horse here, but you better get that settled. Get that deep and embedded in your crawl right now. I'm talking to my preacher boys. You better listen to me. You go out of here, you go pastoring somewhere or serving God somewhere else, and I find out you walk away from that book, I find you.
Right.
I don't care if I'm walking with a cane. I'll smack you in the face with it. If it's the Word of God now, it'll be the Word of God then. Problem with half that crowd who used to shout over it, I don't think they ever really believed it. They were just shouting about it because it was popular. I really believe it. I had about 15, but that's 10 lies that the devil will tell you when you're in the ministry. You're the best there is. You're the worst there is. People don't care about you. You're not making a difference. You'd do better if you just back off. You're not qualified. The old way won't work anymore. Your personal time comes second to the ministry. Put your family on the back burner. They'll understand. And the Bible has flaws. The devil has tried to tell me every single one of those lies except that last one.
Yes. Amen.
That's never been a bother to me. That Bible is settled in my heart. I'll be honest with you, I was a King James man before I knew there was such a thing. I really was. I remember people asking me, which version of the Bible do you use? Version. I was ignorant. I didn't know there was another.
Right.
I was a King James man before I ever knew what a Textus Receptus was.
Right.
Thank you, Rebecca. What? She said. Manuscript evidence and all that stuff. Are you listening? Half that stuff I can't even pronounce.
Yeah, really. Amen.
It's been awesome. Dude. I like this one.
Amen, brother.
Amen. I ain't got to study Hebrew and Greek.
Amen.
I'm still trying to figure English out.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. Let's stand up. I'm talking to people tonight that he's lied to. I'm talking to some who have bought it. Don't let him lie to you. You keep doing what you're doing. Plant and water. Let's get us a prayer sheet and spend some time praying together. You have one of those? No, Bill. Thank you.